If the Tampa Bay Buccaneers win this game, I am going to say that they are going to have to score 30 plus points. This is going to have to be a Baker Mayfield kind of show, and he can do it. I know he can do it. I'm gonna stick with the home team. I'm gonna go with Tampa. I think Baker, just the way that he's been playing, man, that offense is just clicking with Bucky Irving and the way Mike Evans and how the team rallied around Mike Evans to get him that record last year or last week. And McMillan is really stepping up over the last, several weeks. I think he has 6 touchdowns over the last 4 weeks. So, I mean, we'll take that any day of the week. McMillan has earning that trust from Baker Mayfield. Mike Evans, obviously, huge trust. And then, we have uh, our backup, Durham, in the tight end, showing up in the red zone, big time. So I like this offense. I still don't trust this defense, but I think Baker Mayfield can put up enough points in this game to go ahead and give us the win here at home. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Beardzone Sports Talk. My name is David. I got Scooter with me tonight, and it is officially wild card weekend here for the NFL. All NFL fans are rejoicing right now, unless if you're outside. If you're outside looking in, you're looking at next season and how you're going to be rebuilding. And
One disclaimer real quick.
Okay.
As Bucks fans, Falcons suck it. Okay, now we can continue.
All right. I can appreciate that interruption and definitely welcome that. So, yes, Falcons suck it. So, hopefully you can regroup some of that money. Maybe. I don't know. But anyway, before we get into everything that is going to be this wild card weekend, do us a favor, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, because that is the best way to continue to support us. We appreciate all the love and support that we have been seeing over the last couple of videos. You guys are the best. Scooter, before we get into our predictions, I got a little bracket that we are going to go through. We're going to pick our selections. And but before we get into that, there have been some head coaches that they were on the hot seat, right? But now they are officially out. Now that said team is over with. There might be a couple that were a surprise. There are 2 surprises for me. 1, Jared Mayo. 2, Antonio Pierce. Antonio Pierce, maybe not such a surprise, but still pretty decent surprise. And it's just really just because look at the rosters. Raiders didn't have a quarterback, and Patriots had only a quarterback. So, I mean, they were set up for failures. I mean, but I have a question for you. Of all of the head coaching vacancies, we have the Chicago Bears, we have the New York Giants, or not the New York Giants. They are retaining everybody. So, all right.
They shouldn't.
Well, they should at least fire the GM. I was really surprised that they didn't fire the GM. But you have the New York Jets, you have the Chicago Bears, you have the Las Vegas Raiders, you have the New England Patriots, you have the Jacksonville Jaguars, and then you have the New Orleans Saints. Of all of those teams, who's the best case scenario for a coach going in there to try and take that team and turn it around as quickly as possible? Because 2 of those teams fired their head coaches just after 1 year. So who knows how long that new head coach is going to get with that team.
I think the Jags have an interesting scenario where they have youthful talent. They've just never been able to put the whole sandwich together. Jets, soup sandwich. I don't know what happened. I feel like when Aaron Rodgers showed up, he just blew everything up. He should probably retire. The Patriots, hot garbage. I think that's a managerial thing. They didn't put enough talent or even remotely recruited enough talent in free agency to help out Gerard Mayo. They probably didn't even bother trying to help him anyways. I just think that's a organizational roller coaster there. I would argue the Raiders have the easier road to success. Harder division, but easier road. Look at their defense. Their defense was not the issue, and that's what you
No.
usually have to build. Offense, there's tons of offensive talent to go around in free agency. You have quarterbacks coming in, not only the draft, but apparently J.J. McCarthy may be on the potential trade. The rumor mill is that the Falcons will cut Cousins before his $10 million roster bonus.
Which is March 10th, I think.
Yeah, March 10th. And then you have wide receivers. You have two very good tight ends, and Surprise Mayer's not being used. And Brock Bowers fantastic. I think if they can capitalize on maybe some O-line, a few wide receivers, and a quarterback like Shedeur Sanders to the Raiders might be a good option with mentorship from Gardner Minshew. I think there's a way forward there because obviously Desmond Ritter's garbage. Minshew is now potentially going to be on an injury train and more of a mentor moving forward. And the head coach, the Raiders organization, culturally speaking, is pretty decent. I think they had the way forward with Antonio Pierce, and I think this past year, so many injuries, and then Devontae Adams leaving, you have no quarterback for the second year in a row. Aiden O'Connell is a flip a coin if you win the game type deal. I think the fumble against the Chiefs was his, demise. I don't like seeing Antonio Pierce go. I think he's a good cultural team player type guy, like a Tomlin-esque. He's very defensive minded anyways. I don't know if the Davis family has the patience. That's what I think. They're competing against the Broncos. The Broncos have the easy way forward in the West. The Chargers with Harbaugh already made the playoffs year one, so there's a precedent set in the West. And then you're still competing with the Chiefs. Yeah, so did the Broncos. No, but this is Peyton's second year.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So,
fair.
And then again, with the champions of the Chiefs, you're always going to compete against the Chiefs as long as Andy Reid is the head coach. And Mahomes is still there. If Mahomes leaves, I don't know what the hell happens to that organization, but I think the Raiders, in my eyes, my mind, my chaos, makes more sense for a head coach to go to as well. Because again, the market for Vegas, tax-free state, there's a lot of money. And it's pretty much of a brand new facility, workout areas, nice weather. It might be the better option in my eyes.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not mad with that. And there's rumors that Cliff Kingsbury might be the next head coach over there. From the Washington Commanders. He's done well there as the offensive coordinator. I don't know if I would. I mean, but he didn't do half bad with Arizona when he was with Arizona. I don't know. I just don't think that Kyle Murray is the future. My best case scenario, honestly, is to the Chicago Bears. I think that this team is young. I think that they did the right things with drafting. With Caleb Williams, they definitely tried to build a team around him. They just need to get an offensive line put together. And if they can get an offensive and honestly a defensive line put together, they're not a bad team. They're really not a bad team. And I think that, with all the quarterback situations, unless if you're coming into this team and you're wanting to have your hands on it and hand pick your guy as the quarterback. Caleb Williams isn't a bad quarterback to have, right? I mean, there's definitely worst case scenarios. So I like Chicago. I think Chicago is and it's another very competitive division. I mean, you want to talk about another competitor? You said AFC West, NFC North. I mean, three of the teams, hell, two of the teams were battling for first place in the NFC. Wild. So, I mean, to stay competitive, they're going to need to get a guy in there, and I honestly think Ben Johnson is the guy. I think Ben Johnson goes there. He said that he wanted to go there at some point in in the past. Um, and I think that with his brain and his offensive scheme, if anybody can help Caleb Williams, it's going to be him. It's going to be Ben Johnson. And I don't think Ben Johnson is a guy who is necessarily going to be like, no, I want to handpick my guy. Like, I think he'll be okay with having Caleb Williams and then trying to build the pieces around him. And I think that he'll be able to do a very good job there. So Ben Johnson to the Chicago Bears, I think I would probably even put money on that.
I was talking with a few coworkers today, and apparently the Bears were going after Mike McCarthy from the Dallas Cowboys. And obviously Dallas refused.
Right.
What if McCarthy goes to the Bears? Do you think that's a good option? Does it change anything? How about that?
I don't know. I don't think it does. Mike McCarthy is, man, he's the perfect head coach for the Dallas Cowboys. Great in regular season, horrible in postseason. I mean, I think that he just fits the mold so well there. So I don't think Mike McCarthy to the Chicago Bears. I mean, it would be interesting for sure, and the fact that they are wanting to get him shows the kind of head coach that they are looking for, right? Makes sense. I mean, they've invested a lot of money, especially over this past offseason. They invested a lot of money to try and build around Caleb Williams because they knew that they were going to be taking him. So they just got to get that offensive line going, man. They've got to get better at the offensive line. They got to get better at protecting Caleb Williams because I know Caleb Williams was behind a really bad offensive line at USC, but it's different in the NFL, man, and it's clear. I mean, and honestly, if I want to be really honest, I don't think anybody's going to be able to help Caleb Williams except Caleb Williams. And I don't know if he's going to be the guy to do it because I don't like what I saw, especially there. Like you don't have that kind of body language on the sideline. Like you don't throw yourself back and lay down and do like you're the guy. You're the guy who's supposed to be manning this ship and supposed to be running it. I mean, could you imagine if Patrick Mahomes did that, or Josh Allen, or some of these elite quarterbacks? Like
they wouldn't because they have the mental maturity.
Right.
Like I said in the beginning of the season in the draft class for this year, Williams does not have the mental maturity to play at the NFL. And we're seeing it this year. If he matures, I'll eat my words, that's fine. But if he continues this train, I don't see him lasting very long, which is a shame because he is a great talent. But again, like you said with the elite quarterbacks, they show that they own their spot, they own their leadership role, and they move forward. And they better their team and they better the guys around them. Caleb Williams is not doing that right now.
Right. He's not. So, but I like Ben Johnson to the Chicago Bears. I think Chicago Bears is the best case scenario. I do like Oakland as well. The Vegas. Other teams, good luck.
Yeah. Sorry. If you're going to the Jags, God help you.
Vegas Raiders.
If you're going to the Jags or the Patriots, you're going to need a lot of Jesus.
Or the Jets, even. Well, I don't know, man. The Jets. I mean, if they can get a quarterback, Aaron Rodgers is not going to be there next year. I think that's pretty clear, whether he retires or not. But I don't know. They have a good defense, though. And Brian Flores has been the one that's kind of been thrown around for the New York Jets, and he's a defensive guy, so might work out. But they still need a quarterback. You need a quarterback to win in the NFL. I think that everyone can agree on that. So anyway, good luck if those are one of your teams. Godspeed. But let's move on to the teams that matter right now. And let's talk about these teams that are in the wild card. Scooter, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to try and do this, right? I think we did this once before with the draft.
Picks.
Did it with the draft. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to do it. We got this nice little chart here, and we are going to go through game by game. And we're not going to spend, a whole lot of time, but we're going to go ahead and pick these games one by one. And let's just start on this far left side right here. Buffalo Bills, Denver Broncos. It's at Buffalo. Buffalo's the number 2 seed. I love Denver. I think that they, can win against very solid teams. But is it their time of year? Are they going to be able to pull off the upset in Buffalo?
Absolutely not. I think Buffalo is. I'm very biased, however. I think Buffalo has a really good chance to make a run here to the Super Bowl. I don't think Denver's their team to stop them, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with you. I love Buffalo. They are playing well. Josh Allen is playing incredible right now, and it's so hard to win in Buffalo, man. It's so hard to win in Buffalo. I love Denver. I love what they were able to do. I hate Sean Payton, but I love Bo Nix and Denver, if that makes any sense. But I love what they were able to do. I definitely didn't see this coming at the start of the year. I don't know if any one of us had us in our way too early predictions at the beginning of the offseason when we went through the AFC West, having Denver going to the playoffs. But we are going to go ahead and have the Buffalo Bills move on to the playoffs. Now that leads us to our next game. Man, this is a rival game. Baltimore Ravens, Pittsburgh Steelers, AFC North rivals. It's going to be in Baltimore. Pittsburgh, they split the series. Pittsburgh won that first game where there was no touchdown scored, which was a wild game. Baltimore came back, showed them who was the true kings of the North here. Pittsburgh has been on a downslope. This is kind of their thing. They get off to a really good start. That's how they end up winning, above 500, and then they just drop off. But who do you have? Can Pittsburgh pull it off or no?
I don't know. Offensively, they seem out of sync. Their run game is very choppy. Russell Wilson, he's still got it. I think he can still put it on a dime, but George Pickens dropping 3 balls and their other wide receivers just not getting open, man. I don't know how they survive against Baltimore. I really don't. You got Lamar Jackson in a potential repeat of an MVP. I think he edges Josh Allen out on that one. And they just look like they're clicking, man. I think they took that loss to the Chiefs personally early in the season, and now we're going to see them potentially make a run too. I don't again, the 1, 2, and 3 teams for the AFC are just incredibly strong, and I think that's where they kind of get their weight and their favoritism from, at least from the committees and analysts, right? I like Baltimore personally. I don't think the way Pitt is playing right now, I can't see them winning this game.
I don't see them winning it either. Baltimore Ravens are not a team that I would want to face. I know Pittsburgh knows them. I know that they always play them pretty decent, but Pittsburgh is on that downtrend, and I don't see them turning it around this week. So I'm with you. We got Baltimore Ravens moving on to the divisional round. Last AFC wildcard matchup, the Los Angeles Chargers, first year led by Jim Harbaugh, versus the Houston Texans, which honestly is kind of a disappointment season from what we had last year, from CJ Stroud. But who do you have? Texans are the home team, and it's a loud place. It is a loud place to play.
Yeah, dude, the Astrodome. I don't know. You got 2 teams that started out hot, struggled against winning teams, and then had some injuries. This game to me honestly could be a flip of the coin. I lean more towards the Chargers because of their defense. Their defense has been more consistent. I think they were number 1, and then the Bucks played them and scored 40 points and ruined their whole points against average. of like 14.5 points a game, which is really low comparatively if you watch the season. And I think they're number 2, number 3 now at points against. And Houston, after losing Tank Dell, is just like, I don't know what's going on with them. It sucks because I like CJ Stroud and D'Amico Ryans and what they got going. But I mean, when has Houston made a deep run? When's the last time the Chargers have made a deep run? And I like Harbaugh. I think Harbaugh knows this arena better than D'Amico Ryans. I think that's what it boils down to, and I think Harbaugh edges this out for the Chargers.
I'm with you. Pretty much everything that you just said. I just, but both teams have never really made like a true playoff run. But I think that this is the Chargers' year to, start to get that trend going in the right direction. They're a good football team. And the Texans, I just don't trust them enough right now. I really don't, especially, I mean, they lost to the Tennessee Titans this year. So it's like, what's going on? It can be any given Sunday. I understand that, but it's still, I just don't trust the Houston Texans enough to win this game. Let's move on to the NFC. We have it's actually pretty interesting. 2 of the 3 games are week 1 rematches. So we have the Philadelphia Eagles and the Green Bay Packers battling in Philly. For this wild card game. I'll go ahead and I'll kick us off for the NFC. This is one of those games where oh man, it's a little bit scary because Jordan Love did get hurt there, in that game last week. And then I think their backup got hurt. So it's like, it was one of those things where it was kind of like, crap, horrible timing. I love what Josh Jacobs has been able to do. He's really come on strong this year. Jordan Love has been playing really good ball. But Philadelphia, man, Philadelphia is they didn't look strong in the early parts of the year, and then they just clicked. It's like they're having an opposite season of just what was it 2 years ago where they went 10-0 and then they completely tanked. Or no, it was just last year that happened because that's when they lost to Tampa in the wild card. But they're having like a completely opposite year. It was like they kind of drug last year into this year and had not the greatest of starts, and then they just started firing on all cylinders. I believe Jalen Hurts is out of concussion protocol, so he is practicing again. So he's definitely going to be a go for this game. It's in Philly. As much as I like Green Bay, I think that Philadelphia is just going to be too strong for the Green Bay Packers this time around.
Yeah, I mean, even if they have Pickett in for the Philadelphia Eagles, I think they still get the favorite there. Having Jordan Love and the backup injured for the Packers is horrible. It's like, yeah, you got to the playoffs, you had a great season. Sorry. The Eagles definitely win this at home.
Yeah. Now it goes on to the game of the week for us Tampa fans. We have the rematch against the Washington Commanders. It's in prime time. We're, I think, 0-4 in primetime games, which scares me, right? And I'm just saying. But this game, it's worrisome. And here's why. Since the bye week, everyone has been, because, Tampa fans have been very loud about firing Todd Bowles, right? And then since the bye week, we have been one of the best defenses in the league. But go back and look at the teams that we played. They weren't the greatest of offenses that we played, right? Like they weren't top offenses. And so that's why we are looking good. Now we are going up against, I think, a top 4 offense right now with the Jaden Daniels led Washington Commanders. And so this is going to be a very different offense than we are facing. Our defense has been banged up all year long. I don't know what it looks like. I know Jordan Whitehead is out because he had the car accident. I don't know if Winfield is playing, which is a huge thing. And I also don't know if Jamel Dean is playing, which is another huge impact. If the Tampa Bay Buccaneers win this game, I am going to say that they are going to have to score 30-plus points. This is going to have to be a Baker Mayfield kind of show. And he can do it. I know he can do it. I'm going to stick with the home team. I'm going to go with Tampa. I think Baker, just the way that he's been playing, man, that offense is just clicking with Bucky Irving and the way Mike Evans and how the team rallied around Mike Evans to get him that record last year or last week. And McMillan is really stepping up over the last, several weeks. I think he has 6 touchdowns over the last 4 weeks. So, I mean, we'll take that any day of the week. McMillan has earning that trust from Baker Mayfield. Mike Evans, obviously, huge trust. And then, we have uh, our backup, Durham, in the tight end, showing up in the red zone, big time. And so I like this offense. I still don't trust this defense, but I think Baker Mayfield can put up enough points in this game to go ahead and give us the win here at home.
I like the Bucks in this one, but it's not going to be easy, unfortunately. The Washington Commanders look very good. Defensively, I think they're about middle ground. Their offense is, if you give Jaden Daniels anything, I think we've seen that already this season. However, for the Bucks, I think Mike Edwards might still be out. I had to double check our injury report again, like you were saying. I think offensively, you got Durham, you got Colt, McMillan, name any running back that we have. And then Mike Evans. It's a shame that Chris Godwin's not going to be in this game. But if this is a game that we're going to lose, I will say it's going to come down to the random defensive linemen in pulling coverage stuff that Todd Bowles has been doing over the past 5 weeks. I don't think that cuts it here with what Washington has on offense. I think that's a very dangerous move. Dan Quinn has historically had our number, and it scares me, especially in the playoffs with the Commanders. And last point, if we are going to fail at this run for the playoffs and the Super Bowl as Bucks, it is the dumb and very simple penalties that we have been committing over the past 5 weeks. McMillan has, yes, scored 6 touchdowns, best, whatever. Got it. He's also backed us up probably 60 to 80 yards by himself in these dumb personal fouls or the whole taunting thing. And then you got holding, you got the offsides, and our secondary is notorious for pass interference and all the injuries. If Hayes is on the field, he's getting scored on. And unfortunately, I think he's probably going to play in this game. That does not make it easy for me to watch.
No, it's going to be it's not going to be an easy road, but I still think that Tampa will get there. You agree with that, correct?
Yes, absolutely.
All right, let's move on to the final wild card game, and that's going to be the Los Angeles Rams against the 14-3 fifth seed Minnesota Vikings. All right, I'm just going to say that right now. So wild times to be alive. But the Los Angeles Rams, my prediction from a few weeks ago, they prevailed. They won the NFC West. They are now in the playoffs, and they are looking like a good team. Minnesota, not the greatest showing last week against Detroit. It was not an easy team to beat. I understand that, but holy crap, Sam Darnold, what were you doing out there? But who you got?
He had no O-line.
Fair enough. So, but I'll let you say your piece with this game before I chip in.
I'll have to take this in sections here. Special teams, whatever. I think they're equal there. Defensively, I think the edge goes to Minnesota. I think the offense side goes to LA Rams here. I think this is probably the most even matchup of the playoff games when I'm looking at it. The Rams have been very good this second half of the season. Everything's clicking. McVay's got momentum, dude. McVay with momentum with Stafford and Puka and Kupp, Kyron Williams. It is a very good offense, man. Higbee is back, finally. And Minnesota's showing last game against the Lions, that offensive line looked horrible. Fisk and Verse for the Rams are getting their momentum too. I don't know how this plays out for Minnesota's offense. but Aaron Jones would love to prove more Packers fans wrong, and moving beyond the first round would mean so much to the Minnesota Vikings organization, man. The Rams, I don't want to discount anything that they've done all season. And to me, either team could actually win this game. I think the edge goes to Minnesota because they want to meet Detroit again and prove a point. I like Minnesota, and I feel very cautious about that. I don't know, again, because the Rams are hot.
No, and the Rams are high, and I like the Rams a lot, and I've been kind of going back and forth on this one, but it's gosh, man, after last week's showing, I immediately said, "Oh, Rams should win this game," but Kevin O'Connell and this team all year have been surprising people every single week. Every single week, this team has been showing up when they needed to show up. Unfortunately, they didn't do it that last week. But it was against Detroit. It was in Detroit. I mean, you're not going to get it all the time. I don't think that they carry that momentum in. I got Minnesota winning this game as well in a very close matchup. So that leads us to the divisional round. Let's go ahead and pick things up a little bit here. Kansas City, Los Angeles Chargers. Who do you got?
Are we serious right now?
I mean, it's
again, with whoever we picked, this is all situational. Kansas City wins in a heartbeat, dude. I don't. They got rest. They got. Yeah.
Yeah. Ah, man, I'm gonna select Kansas City here, but this is actually that would be my upset of the week. I'm just gonna say it right now. That would be my upset of the week because you're looking at a very rested Kansas City Chiefs, 2 weeks without play. All right, coming back in to play. I understand it's Kansas City and everything,
a lot of injuries though.
They've had a lot of close games. They've had a lot of close games this year. I'm going to take Kansas City, but I will say for the record, that would be, if this is how the divisional round plays out, that would be my upset of the week right there. Buffalo Bills, Baltimore Ravens. Gosh, what a heavyweight matchup. Buffalo would be hosting this as they are the number 2 seed. Who do you got?
This would be an MVP A and B, 1A, 1B game to me. Like, I don't know who else is in the race besides Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson. Buffalo versus Baltimore, like you said, super heavyweights, dude. Like, I have to give it to Buffalo. I think Lamar going to the conference championship. This could be a really high scoring game. And I think Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills want something to prove. And I know Baltimore has everything to prove too against the Chiefs, but I think the edge goes to Buffalo here.
I'm going to say something that's going to give me a lot of hate in the comments, but go ahead and go back a few episodes. One of our earliest episodes on YouTube, I stated, and I will stand by it, I think Lamar Jackson is a very elite quarterback. I think that he is a fantastic locker room guy, leader. He checks all the boxes. I don't think he's a Super Bowl winning quarterback. I got Buffalo Bills.
Yeah.
Philadelphia, Tampa. It will be in Philly. It will be in Philly. Philly, we beat them earlier this year, but man, Philly is a different ball game. Tampa, Philly, who you got?
I mean, we beat them last year.
I mean, we did.
Yeah, I'll take Bucks. I'll take the Bucks.
You know what? Let's let the bias continue. I got Tampa.
Okay, before you click Tampa Bay, I want to say this right now. There are, since 93 in the Bills' four-peated loss, not one quarterback that has lost their first Super Bowl ever returned to win another one. You have Jalen Hurts. You have Jared Goff in this mix-up of these 8 teams that we got going in the divisional round. So take that as it is. That's a new weird theory floating around the NFL. So is Jalen Hurts or Jared Goff going to win a Super Bowl? I don't think so because they're playing the Bucs.
And the Bucs it is. All right, Carlos would be absolutely going crazy, but hey, man, that's what you get for not being here. Hope you feel better, buddy. Detroit Lions, Minnesota Vikings, the rematch for the 1 seed. Who do you got? It's going to be in Detroit, obviously.
How Minnesota got embarrassed, dude, I don't know. Detroit's got so much momentum right now. I love Dan Campbell. Give me some pot of coffee, teeth, and just let's roll.
I don't think it was a mistake. I think the true number 1 seed is the true number 1 seed. I love what Minnesota is doing. You surprised the hell out of all of us, but I got Detroit going on. Now we have the NFC Championship. We have the Kansas City Chiefs and the Buffalo Bills. Who do you got? Do the Chiefs go on to stamp their ticket into the Super Bowl and punch their way to the possible three-peat, the first ever?
I'm going to speak for everyone who's not a Kansas City fan, and which means the rest of America. Floyce Goddard, I hope you're listening to this episode. Kansas City gets upset by Josh Allen. Josh Allen takes the Bills to the Super Bowl. Go America.
That is my prediction as well. Buffalo Bills with the beat over the Kansas City Chiefs. Kansas City has been shaky all year long. That one loss in that column was to Buffalo Bills. I think Buffalo gets their second win over Kansas City this year. Now we have the Detroit Lions. Jared Goff, you just mentioned it earlier. He went to the Super Bowl and lost versus Baker Mayfield, who is looking to take his team to their first ever Super Bowl. Glenn or Scooter, my bad. Who do you got?
I don't think we have a shot against the Lions.
I don't think we have a shot either. Detroit, so. Yeah, I love, we can ride the biasy, but at some point we have to understand that it's Detroit Lions and the Buffalo Bills that are going to be making it to the Super Bowl. Scooter, Super Bowl champion this year. Who do you got?
If this is the actual scenario, America wins because this would be a first win for both of these teams. I think this game would have to boil down to who wants it more. Does Jared Goff have the ability to break the whole return to Super Bowl after your first loss curse? And does Josh Allen have the ability to break the Bills curse and going to a Super Bowl and actually winning? Oh man, this is like curse versus curse, and it's also like who owns the Great Lakes? This is like a Great Lakes Super Bowl. You have Lake Michigan versus Lake Erie. Snow and snow. Oh man. Bills? I like the Bill. I mean, again, slight biasy here, but I think this would be a spectacular game to watch. Defensively, offensively, coaching, all of it. I think Josh Allen outgames Jared Goff. I mean, it's going to be a hard-nosed game, though.
Give me Dan Campbell and Detroit Lions. I want them to win the Super Bowl. I got them winning the Super Bowl. I love it. So you got Buffalo. I got Detroit. We are probably both completely wrong, but this is our prediction right here. Let us know down there in the comments what your prediction is for this year's Super Bowl. And tell us how wrong. I mean, we'll come back to this video and we'll be like, wow, what were we thinking?
We'll have to redo this next week, too.
We'll have to maybe redo this next week a little bit. But let us know down there in the comments who is going to make it all the way and hoist that Lombardi trophy at the end of the year. Go ahead and let us know down there in the comments below. Do us a favor. Go on to all of our social medias. You can find the links in our description on our YouTube page. We're on Facebook. We're on X. We are on Instagram. So go over there and check us out. Do us a favor, share this video with all of your family and friends, coworkers, enemies, whatever it is. We appreciate it. Get us out there more in the algorithm. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We're here every Friday, 9 a.m., bringing you all NFL stuff. And until next Friday,
Beardzone out.